Welcome to Token Topics. I hope everyone out there is doing great. The topic of this video is Stellar XLM. We're going to dive into some fresh and exciting news on an executive order that's actually good news as far as giving us regulatory clarity on central bank digital currencies and crypto in general. Also, we're going to educate listeners and viewers on what anchors are and how they play a role in the Stellar ecosystem. And not just Stellar, there's other ecosystems out there that use anchors, but we're going to discover and learn what they are. Also, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions on the US dollar being a stable coin and how this executive order plays a role in that. So please hit the like and subscribe if you like the content. And remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Invest at your own risk. I'm also not paid for or sponsored by the SDF. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive in, shall we? Before I begin, I would like to let my listeners and viewers now more than ever is the time to keep your crypto safe and get a hardware wallet. Especially with talk about cyber attacks and everything, there's no better decision than to get your crypto off the exchanges and onto a hardware wallet. Decent Wallet is running an amazing deal through Token Topics. I'm going to put an affiliate link in the description below and you can see the markdown price. It's only $109. You're getting an amazing discount. And when you purchase it through Token Topics, you're still receiving a better rate than you would on Amazon. So now's the time to get that biometric wallet to keep your crypto safe. As I stated before, the affiliate link is in the description below. Alright, so this is big news that just came out, the executive order on ensuring responsible development of digital assets. A lot of people were crossing their fingers, hoping for some good news, and it's looking like we did get good news to come out of Washington. So over these sections is highlight that we must protect consumers and investors and businesses in the United States. We must protect the United States and global financial stability and mitigate systematic risk. We must mitigate the illicit finance and national security risk posed by misuse of digital assets, so that's all covered. And we must reinforce United States leadership in the global financial system and in technological and economic competitiveness, including through the responsible development of payment innovation and digital assets. Some more highlights that we must promote access to safe and affordable financial services. Many Americans are underbanked or unbanked, and the costs of cross-border money transfers and payments are high. We must support technological advances that promote responsible development and use of digital assets. So as you can see, it's a very large article. I'm just going over some good areas here. Alright, I'm going to go through section 4. So policy and actions related to United States central bank digital currencies. The policy of my administration on the United States CBDCs is as follows. The sovereign money in at a core of a well-functioning financial system, macroeconomics, stabilization policies, and economic growth. So the Biden administration places the highest urgency on research and development efforts into the potential design and development options of the United States CBDC. So this is crucial for companies like Ripple and Stellar, because their main role is to cross-border or to transfer these CBDCs and also interoperate between different CBDCs. So these efforts are going to include assessments of possible benefits and risk for consumers, investors, and businesses, and so on. So this is awesome right here. So the administration sees merit in showing the United States leadership and participation in international fora related to CBDCs and in multi-country conversations and pilot projects involving CBDCs, which Stellar has been involved with some pilot projects, especially with a major bank in Ukraine, and I'll get to that in a moment. So any future dollar payment system should be designed in a way that is consistent with the United States priorities. So if you think about it, we have the USDC stablecoin. If you ask me, that is going to be the main stablecoin of the United States. And Circle is the anchor of the USDC, and I'm going to get to anchors later in this video. So it also talks about the benefit that a CBDC may have the potential to support efficient and low-cost transactions, particularly for cross-border funds, transfers, and payments, and to foster greater access to the financial system with fewer of the risks posed by private sector administration administered digital assets. A United States CBDC that is interoperable with CBDCs issued by other monetary authorities or other nations and so on could facilitate faster, lower cost cross-border payments and potentially boost economic growth, support continued centrality of the United States within the international financial system, and to help promote the unique role that the dollar plays in a global finance. So this is huge. This is a very long article. You can go through it, but I just wanted to get over the main thing is the central bank digital currencies, getting the regulation in for also the stable coins. That is very, very important. So this is actually good news. It's looking like they're getting the groundwork laid for the clarity. Once we get that clarity, it's game on. All right, so this was tweeted out from Danielle Dixon that today executive order is a significant milestone. It's a big deal for the White House to engage directly on digital assets, and I totally agree with her. And even more so to call for a government-wide strategy and cooperation. And she continues that we hope that it leads to a future regulatory state where agencies have more clarity in how their existing regulatory framework can and should be applied to the blockchain industry and the identification of any gaps. So, as many of these agencies trapped in this directive are only now digging into the opportunities and potential risk, it's critical to include industry in this process. We are hopeful that this is a sign of more participation and partnerships to come. And you can go over the blog, but it's just the same thing that I just went over. I'll put the link to this in the description below. So now I want to play a clip where you're going to hear Danielle Dixon talk about needing this regulatory clarity and the benefits that Stellar has brought to Ukraine already during this crisis.
The geopolitical circumstances that are currently bearing down on the markets, there's been some interesting reports about cryptocurrency use in light of the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. In addition to that, there are major levels of inflation in currencies across the world. So I wanted to ask, in light of all these events, has your perspective on cryptocurrency regulation in the U.S. or more broadly shifted at all?
No, I don't think my perspective has shifted. First of all, thank you for having me here. I think the need that we have for us to collaborate with regulators all over the world is still there. I think that when regulators already have the opportunity and the ability to regulate at the activity level, and most of this is already in laws and regulations that exist globally. So financial institutions and money service businesses already are regulated in all of these regions. And so it's just, there might be some gaps that we have to work through, but my view on the value and the benefits of blockchain and crypto stand, and how we can actually bring a lot of value. We're already seeing that in this awful conflict that's happening in the Ukraine with the invasion by Russia, where we see that cryptocurrency is being leveraged to be able to do a tremendous amount of good for the local, the humanitarian aid there, as well as with the government of Ukraine. So I think it's a real positive, and I think we're working towards a better resolution with respect to the public to private partnerships and working together to make some needed regulation appropriately leveled for the industry.
So those were remarks from Danielle Dixon before the executive order that just came out of Washington. So you can see that these world events and everything that's going on kind of applied that pressure that we needed to start to get the ball rolling. Stellar's been working with a Ukrainian bank. They've been working, this is an older article from December. We know from last year that they decided to start working on a central bank digital currency, on testing it out. So now with these new regulatory frameworks or this executive order to push clarity quicker, this is going to give us clarity into things that we needed to move forward. So I want to show you this clip also with MoneyGram being explained by Danielle Dixon and the Ukraine bank.
Are teaming up to bridge digital and fiat currencies. The service will enable cash in and cash out in local currency at participating MoneyGram locations with near instant settlement. Users will be able to move between one cash currency to another or obtain USDC in their digital wallets. I said on the last quarterly call, that we were working hard behind the scenes to bring this to life. Well, about a month after that announcement, we shared at Meridian that we'd already hit the first milestone by launching a live pilot for friends and family in the US. Credit goes to the MoneyGram technical team and SDF's partner engineering team for how quickly they stood this up. There's a lot of excitement internally as we test things, and the service will launch this year. This is an inflection point in interoperability between fiat and digital assets. We're bringing the best of both worlds together and demonstrating the value of both the agent network that MGI has built and the payment network that Stellar has built. The convergence of traditional and digital finance is creating new value, new choices, and seamlessness for users, and it will help power the next wave of crypto adoption. Also in December, FinTech Bit and Tascom Bank, one of Ukraine's oldest commercial banks, announced the launch of a pilot project to issue an electronic hryvnia on Stellar. As part of the pilot, they'll test the electronic hryvnia on the use case of programmable payroll for public sector employees in Ukraine.
On to the next topic. What are anchors and how do they play a role in the Stellar ecosystem? That's a good question. Let's go ahead and discover what anchors are.
Across the world, for example, like anchors are regulated financial institutions. While they're, across the world, for example, like a famous and very criticized stablecoin called Tether, USDT. People are very critical of their policies around their reserve, and they ask for audits and things like that. I think in general, blockchain is fairly transparent, and companies that, and Stellar is this way too, very open and transparent about policies and what, how they manage funds and exactly what their reserves are and where their reserves are. We insist on companies that become anchors on Stellar have to identify themselves. They have, they're kind of a trusted financial institution in their own market. And they all have to comply with their own local regulations, but our expectation is that they are fully reserved assets. We are an open network, and so anyone can use it, and it's definitely up to the user and the consumer to make sure that they're making smart decisions. But we really look to hold our anchors to a high bar. Wallets also connect to anchors. So when you do walk in with your cash or send a bank transfer to an anchor to get those tokens, you need to have a wallet to land that value coming out of the anchor in tokens.
All right, so we heard a little bit from Ada Vaughn on what anchors are. Now let's get a brief overview from the SDF docs. All right, so Stellar anchors are on and off ramps of the Stellar network. They accept deposits of fiat currencies such as USD, CNY, BRL, so on, and via existing rails, such as bank deposits, cash-in points, and send the user the equivalent digital tokens representing those deposits on the Stellar network. So to put it simple, anchors are the on and off ramps to do the exchange. All right, now let's hear from Danielle Dixon on 3 awesome companies that have anchors on the Stellar network. Keep in mind, it's all about interoperability and in making it easy to interoperate and switch and swap these assets. Keep in mind, there's newcomers that are jumping on board and they're learning about Stellar. So some people might already know about these partnerships, but I'm just explaining how these companies, they partnered with Stellar, created anchors on the Stellar network to allow these on and off ramps and interoperability to exchange and so on.
New cross-border payment solutions powered by ecosystem companies working together. It's worth noting that none of these would have been possible without the introduction of Stellar USDC to the network, and that happened in early January last year. But I want to highlight 3 examples. Flutterwave, a global payments technology company, has launched 2 new remittance corridors between Europe and Africa. Working with longtime ecosystem company and EU anchor Tempo Payments, Flutterwave is using the Stellar network and Stellar USDC to simplify remittances in Africa. Opening these new corridors will greatly benefit businesses focused on building more efficient, cost-effective remittance services, contributing to a stronger, more inclusive Pan-African digital payments infrastructure. Next is Tribal Credit. It's a B2B payment and financing platform for emerging markets. It's joining forces with leading Latin America crypto exchange Bitso to create instant and cheaper cross-border payment services between Mexico and the US. They'll launch a solution that enables companies in Mexico to send B2B payments in pesos to the US and allow the recipient to receive the payment in dollars. So combining the lending capabilities of Tribal with Bitso's exchange and using Stellar USDC, this partnership has the potential to significantly expand financial access for small to medium-sized businesses in the Latin American region. And then finally, there's ARF, a working capital financing and cross-border settlement provider, which has teamed up with Tempo to introduce a new payment corridor from Europe to the Philippines. Remittances have gained increasing importance in the Philippine economy. ARF and Tempo are seizing on a significant opportunity to improve the remittance experience for both senders and receivers, made possible by the Stellar blockchain and Stellar USDC.
All right, on to the next topic. Now, before I end the video, I want to go over this promotional offer on Stellar Shop's Vanity Lifestyle Tokens that's built on the Stellar blockchain. We know that there might be a lot of blockchains that might go to zero. So the best bet is to be creating your project on something that you know is going to last. And Stellar Vanity Lifestyle Tokens are created on the Stellar blockchain, and they give meaning to your money. Now we the people can put whatever we want on the face of our money instead of them choosing. Keep in mind we're using the Lobster wallet, which is a very safe and excellent Stellar wallet to use for this promotional offer. And I want to show you this clip so you know for a fact that setting a trust line and issuing assets on this wallet is safe.
There are a lot of different wallets. Wallets have to be compatible with the blockchains that those assets move on. So Lobster is an example of a Stellar compatible wallet, and it gives users access to any asset on Stellar. So whether you've tokenized a Lightment card or a bar of gold or 100 USDC on Stellar, all of those are available to be seen with a Lobster wallet. It's very clean design. We really like and recommend Lobster. And it's also very kind of open-ended, so it can be used for all these different kinds of assets.
Put the link to this special promotional offer in the description below, but go ahead and just shop through it. Just shop through all the different lifestyle tokens, whatever your niche is or whatever you're into. Maybe you're into space, scuba diving, surfing, maybe you're into motorcycles and biking, the sailing life, anything that you're into, now you can put whatever you want on the face of your money. And considering that it's built on Stellar, that it is going to be here to last. I like the good vibrations. If you want to send somebody some good vibes, instead of just saying it, you can actually send them some raise your vibration tokens. Born to Ride. I mean, the list goes on. So just go ahead, check out the store, choose whatever you want. We're still running the free airdrop or the promotional offer. I like this one, the 432 hertz. I mean, the list goes on. Whatever you're into, and if you have an idea maybe for a token, let us know. I'll give you an example. Let's say you own a coffee shop and you know it's Java Hot Cup Coffee Shop, okay? You can create your own money on the Stellar network, and you can have special incentives for your customers. So let's say your customers, they want, you know, so many tokens, right? Well, if they use those tokens, they also get a discount, and you know, all different, so many use cases that you can create. Maybe you're a band, maybe you're a musician, okay? You can actually create your own tokens with your band's name on them on the Stellar network, and they can use it as money, maybe buy merchandise or whatever, but they could also use it somewhere else because everything is going to interoperate on the Stellar blockchain. So that would mean that your fan base of that band could actually use that money however they want or interchange it. It's all about interoperability. Or as I stated, that coffee shop, the Java Hot Coffee, you could put your shop's name on those tokens and have your customers use them, but they can interoperate and choose, spend them wherever they want. All kinds of ideas. It's limitless. It's an excellent promotional offer. I'm going to put a link also to a video that I just recently made that gives you a walkthrough on how to fill out the request form, and so you can receive your tokens through the Lobster wallet. So if you do have a business, or maybe you're a musician, or maybe you have a business, whatever the case may be, if you are interested in creating your own money on the Stellar network, please contact Stellar Shop. I'm going to put a link in the description below and let them know that Token Topics sent you. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please put your comments and thoughts down below. And I want to say thank you for watching another edition of Token Topics. Y'all take care out there.